Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm told to speak a bit louder. Loud enough? Good? Yeah, okay, thank you. They're doing a recording of this session. Okay, good afternoon once again. And it's the Association of Banks, which I represent, is very pleased to be the sponsor of this, grand sponsor of this annual Polytechnic 100 Hackathon program, which we have been supporting over the last several years. And my heartiest congratulations to all the 5 finalist teams that are going to do their presentation. And thank you. We can't wait to hear from you, your proposals, how, and your suggestions, recommendations on how you are going to harness technology to solve real-world problems and challenges. Now, I can feel the excitement here with all quiet excitement of the presenters as well as your supporters and those who are waiting to hear from you. And we take pride. ABS takes pride that this hackathon is the 6th in the series, continues to be the platform to nurture the FinTech talent pool in the polytechnics. It is an important initiative to develop the much needed resource to support the financial industries in the digitization program. Once again, we are glad that this year's PolyFinTech100 Hackathon has set a new record for the highest number of participants. As mentioned earlier, 750 Polytechnic students from over 139 teams. This is worth repeating. And it's an impressive 6-fold increase over the first hackathon that we started in 2018. And this success doesn't come by chance. It's a lot of hard work and support behind the scenes. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the many lecturers and mentors for guiding the participants. And a big thank you to MAS and our sponsorship partners, the Platinum, the Blockchain, I want to repeat again, the Blockchain Association of Singapore, Kathleen Foundation, PayPal, Prudential Singapore, and last but not least, Singlife. And special thanks to the organizing team from Ngee Polytechnic, School of Business and Accountancy for yet another successful hackathon. So let's continue to do the good work year after this. This won't be our last. So finally, our sincere thanks to the panel of judges. They are seated here, the 3 of them. They are Mr. Shadab, Taiyabi, President of Singapore FinTech Association, Kenneth, Ngee, the ED of Enterprise Knowledge Department from MAS, and my OBS colleague, Head of Digital and Compliance, not Kenneth, Edmund Chong, yes. So thank you, judges. And now my best wishes to all finalists. All the best to all of you. So without further ado, let's sit tight and let the presentations begin. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So now it is time for the grand final pitching. So allow me to explain the rules. So we will be hearing from 5 teams who are in their respective category finals, category champions rather. And each team will have 7 minutes to pitch. The teams will be alerted on their time via a call bell. So 1 ring for 1 minute left. Thank you. And 2 rings for the end of the pitch. So there will also be a 3 minutes question and answer. So now it is timely to also, just to make mention to the judges for the PolyFinTech100 API Hackathon. So Mr. Edmund Chong, Head of Digitalisation Operational Resilience, the Association of Banks in Singapore. Mr. Kenneth, Ngee, Executive Director, Monetary Authority of Singapore. And Mr. Shadab Taiyabi, President, Singapore FinTech Association. So our judges, you'll be evaluating each pitch based on the following criteria: the investment required, originality and creativity, presentation, implementation, time frame, and needs for target segment. And of course, the teams, they'll be fighting, they'll be pitching to win 3 amazing cash prizes, where the second runner-up will be getting $1,500, the first runner-up $2,500, and the grand champions an amazing 4,000 Singapore dollars. So with that, audience, are you ready? Yeah. Nice, thank you so much. So now I'd like to welcome Team ETF on the category of decentralized finance. Team ETF may come up on stage. Team, your time starts now.
A very good afternoon. We are Team EFT from Ngee Poly and proudly serves as the co-founder of Agile. Agile is a decentralized lending pool that allows users to deposit and borrow. It serves as flexible repayments, low fees, and better interest. Agile is a decentralized. Why the need for Agile and what are some issues with bank loans? Prior to DeFi, individuals with poor credit scores or insufficient collateral face challenges in assessing loans, especially students who wish to pursue studies but is limited by their financial constraints due to loan and scholarship ineligibility. Secondly, centralized systems pose a higher risk of data breaches as all information is stored in one central location, creating a single point of failure. With Agile, we can tackle these issues by building a permissionless and inclusive financial ecosystem. This is because Agile is decentralized and all you need is internet to access it. Agile is supported by a computer network, avoiding central risk and direct transactions between users help reduce fees, making credit more affordable, helping students with poor credentials to attain and earn at the same time with a unique token distribution system, highlighting the concept of earn and learn. Therefore, Agile is joining in on this transformative journey of DeFi and aims to address this problem statement. So here's how Agile works.
So, as many Web2 users are new to Web3, we've made the transition easy by enabling a social login. With these login entries, we're able to conduct our due diligence and data validity checks to prevent fraud and data tampering. This is possible through converting off-chain data and storing it as a hash on the blockchain, which can be used for auditing purposes. And to tamper with the on-chain data, a large portion of the blockchain network will need to be compromised, and this creates fault tolerance and system resilience. One of the platform's features is that new Web3 users will get a newly minted key after verification, and this means that you don't have to be an experienced blockchain user, as we'll do the Web3 onboarding for you. As a non-custodial platform, you'll be in full control of sending and receiving funds to and from your own generated key. We've also implemented an initial margin charge so as to deter bot spam, and they will not be able to transact until they have met our initial margin mandate. The initial margin amount will be reimbursed when they deactivate their accounts. So let's briefly talk about the algorithm behind our liquidity pool. Our AI structure is comprised of two components, the data collected and computed functions. Firstly, the purpose of the AI is to measure and adjust liquidity in the pool based on computing the pool's utilization rates. We collect data on the amount that is available in a pool and what's currently being lent out. The resulting ratio gives us our utilization rate, which is a defining metric for determining the longevity of the liquidity in a pool. Let me give you an example. Elevated utilization rates will result in an increase in borrowing costs and hopefully create a soft dampening for loan demand. And this in turn would also result in new liquidity coming into the system as there's higher adjusted deposit rates. We can help buffer our pool reserves. So by incorporating our community feedback, we can also develop a sustainable and reliable algorithm that is compatible for worldwide adoption. Let me share with you how we can work with our community to achieve this.
Our community forums empowers users to actively shape the platform development through moderation of guidelines, flag violations, and fostering a supportive environment. The community can also propose solutions to issues, and top-rated suggestions will be implemented through a moderated voting system. Users can earn our utility token by contributing to the committee and platform growth. They can participate in committee activities and suggest platform improvements, or earn tokens for holding investment and repaying loans promptly. Tokens can be redeemed for perks such as upgrading interest tiers, boost governance power, and expand loan capacity. Now introducing interest cap. For example, our base interest rate starts at 4%, which is slightly above market average. While optimized interest rate is 7%, users can utilize their tokens to unlock higher rates of 5-6% to the max of 7%, and vice versa for borrowers. This leads to a virtuous cycle where it promotes committee participation and proactive governance while fostering transparency and expanding the platform's user base for interest tier. This encourages longer staking for investors and for borrowers to repay dutifully. We'll also be collecting the interest spread from unutilized interest caps. To mitigate default risk, we have implemented 3 risk management procedures. First, to regulate loan disbursement according to the loan tenure to encourage responsible borrowing. Second, to incentivize timely repayment through token distribution. Third, to embed smart legal contracts into the loan process. Defaulter accounts will be immediately suspended while related accounts will be investigated through the blockchain for suspicious or malicious activities. After defaults, legal actions will be enforced through smart legal contract, while investors will be protected as our pool reserves will absorb and buffer most default losses. Our reserves pool generate revenues from two sources. First, utilizing the interest spread between the difference between interest rate paid by borrowers and depositors and our interest cap. Secondly, we also utilize the initial margin fee collected from borrowers before a loan. Together, our revenue pool is consolidated from these revenue streams. Funds will be reallocated from the reserve pool into risk-free assets like government securities, where we aim at annual return of 3 to 3.5%.
We are currently in the midst of stage 1, where we have already started with web development and are looking forward to completing it and starting user testing by the start of next year, where we plan to focus testing on student loans by programming a scoring system and dispersing the loan accordingly. If all development and testing go as planned, we plan to launch officially in early November next year. Here is a breakdown of our total projected cost of around 122,000 over the timeline until launch. The segments highlighted in purple are of top priority for development, followed by blue and light blue. We will now move on to a short demo.
So as a new user, we can navigate the platform without any prior blockchain knowledge, and let me show you how. So let's click on Apply Now. It's not showing. So let's click on Apply Now, and it will bring up the social login that's integrated with our Web3 auth. We can choose to continue with Google, and they'll prompt us to sign in with our own Gmail, and the process shouldn't take very long. So let's click on Apply Now, and this will bring up the social login that's integrated with Web3 auth, and we can choose to continue with Google, and this process shouldn't take very long. Now, once we're in, we can complete the mandatory security processes, which starts with providing our own ID proof, and then we follow it by our address proof, and finally deposit our security margin. And once we've done all of this, we'll be able to use our loan function and be able to submit a loan request. Yeah, we can continue the demo during the Q&A if you'd like to see more.
All right, time's up. Thank you so much, Team EFT. May I get you now to the center of the stage for the question and answers? All right, so now judges, you have 3 minutes Q&A, starting now.
Yeah, hi, thanks very much, Team Agile, for this really good presentation. It's a pity that you guys didn't have enough time for the demo, but I had the opportunity to see it actually during your rehearsal 2 days ago, and I was really impressed that you guys were able to put together a prototype, a functioning prototype. I mean, for everyone's benefit, they were also able to demonstrate a sample transaction on the platform as well, and to demonstrate that it actually appears on the blockchain. So I thought that was extremely impressive. So congratulations to the team for this achievement. My question actually relates to the idea of responsible lending, because you guys are targeting students and making loans to them. You guys have some community guidelines in place. Perhaps you can elaborate a bit more on how you guys, this platform would also encourage, responsible, in a way, borrowing on the part of students so that they don't over-leverage. Thanks.
So you're asking about how we plan to set the guidelines for our community, right?
Yeah, or rather, how would this platform, serve this so-called purpose of encouraging the borrowers to borrow responsibly, to know what is, good or rather appropriate amount of credit you could take out, how you intend to pay it back, and so on and so forth.
So when you start off, you won't be able to, maximize your loan from the pool. You'll be starting off with tiers, and as you participate actively in the community, you'll be able to use your utility tokens to increase your loan capacity. So there's sort of like a interval approach to this, and we don't allow people to just take a loan straight out. So you have to go through different processes, and that's where our utility token comes in, and you have to be an active member in our community.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the presentation. I'm more looking at from the business case of it. So I think I'm glad to hear that for any students or borrowers, right, they have to earn and pay, right? So you mentioned about this utility token when they contribute to community. So how do you validate that they have contribute to that community work, and then how much will their effort being translated into that utility tokens? Thanks.
So basically, we will introduce moderators into this concept. So basically, moderator will be in charge of looking through the forums, and also if they are able to satisfy a certain quota through the usage of smart contract, we will be able to disburse those utility tokens to them automatically. Yeah.
Just to continue on the questions on the business side, have you looked at exploring a B2B2C solution for this, where you can be giving it out as a platform to other enterprises?
Yeah, definitely. So this is actually an algorithm solution, right, on the business front side of things. But to start out on our development phase, we do want to focus on student loans to create that impact to that target segment. But definitely we can integrate the algorithm to be fair to the borrowers as well as lenders, and obviously the funders who are investing in our business idea.
All right, judges, that's all the time we have for questions. So thanks so much, Team EFT. You may now exit the stage. Right, okay, so well done, team. So next up, we have the second team under the category of tokenization for real-world assets, Team Harvest Inked. Give it up for Harvest Inked. Team, your time starts now.
All right. Good afternoon, esteemed judges and guests. My name is Ezra Daniel. Together with Hayden and Vegan, we present to you Harvest Inc. Now, the agricultural industry has many issues, and these issues can all be linked up. Firstly, a lack of capital. Farmers commonly face credit and financing issues. This leads to poor quality tools being used, thus bearing subpar produce. Next, funding issues. Since farmers end up being seen as risky investments, interest on farming loans can go up to 24% or even 120% in rural areas for the unbanked. Next, poor investment in agriculture. As the global population continues to rise, there's a growing concern that our agricultural production will struggle to keep pace. And studies have shown that within the next few decades, the output of our agriculture will actually be outpaced by the global population. This is where Harvest Inc. comes in. Harvest Inc. is a project that aims to bring asset tokenization into the farming industry and solve these issues. Now, how do we do this? We plan to do this by tokenizing farmlands and bringing investment methods of farms to the general public. Every farm will be able to produce tokens, and for every 325 square meters of farmland, one harvest token will be produced. The average of one farmland in Singapore is around 20,000 meters square. This will mean that on average, there will be around 60 tokens per farmland. One harvest token will be available for $2,100 Sing upon first release, and once the tokens are pushed out, they will fluctuate based on supply and demand of the tokens. We also have a token holders' rights policy in which bigger owners have more authority over crops than smaller ones. Next, let me talk about our business model. Firstly, I'll talk about cash going farmers. When farms ship out their own tokens, the money made from them will be brought to the farmers so that they can kickstart their farming operations and keep it in a smooth operation. Now, I'll talk about the exchange of tokens for crops and cash. Investors will have the option to exchange their tokens for produce from the farms they have invested in. This allows them to be more in touch with the farms as well as more in touch with the investment itself.
So next, I'll be presenting on how can investors choose which crops are farmed. So firstly, farmer puts out crops that suits the farm condition the best. Investors will then vote for the crops that they want to produce, and the crops with the highest votes will be planted and harvested. And when the new season arrives, the cycle will repeat. So next, I'll be giving you a brief demo of how our website looks like. So firstly, we have a lot of features such as announcement slider, marketplaces, and maps. If you click onto maps, there will be different locations of our farms. And with a click of a button, we're able to change the country. If the user clicks onto the red icon, it actually shows you a brief description of the farm. So moving on to Marketplace, these are all the farms that operate under Harvest Inc. And if an investor is interested, they are able to click onto the farm's profile, and they will be able to gain access to the floor price of the farm, total volume, average price, and etc. And this will be how our listed tokens will look like. And an investor, if is interested, they are able to press onto this token, and they can gain an overall performance analysis of the token over time. So next, I'll be moving on to future expansion. So our first overseas expansion project will be conducted in Korea. So basically, Clayton, the company that we are working with, boasts a substantial network of connections within Korea. And according to our research, Korean farms produce significantly more agricultural goods than those in Singapore. So moving on to our seasonal pricing. Basically, the prices of crops and tokens can fluctuate based on the seasons. With higher yield leads to higher supply and demand, and therefore the prices of the tokens will then increase. However, in the same farm, the vice versa might happen. So it really depends on which farms the investors choose, as different farms specializes in different seasons. So next, I'll be moving on to data collection. So with the inclusion of numerous farms in our database, we gain unprecedented access to an exclusive amount of data that has never been achieved before. So like what Daniel said just now, the human population will probably outgrow the agriculture output in a few decades' time. So with this data that we have, we can actually sell this data to huge corporations for them to better plan for our future needs and necessities, as well as for our future generations.
Now, I'll be showing everyone here how we make money. For every transaction, we'll be charging a 2.1% royalty fee that goes to us and a 1.8% gas fee that goes to Clayton. On top of the fees, we'll also be taking ownership of 3.5% of all tokens in order to regulate the whole token ecosystem. Moving on to the ESG aspect of our project, we'll be focusing mainly on the E, which stands for environment. Blockchain and cryptocurrency websites create huge carbon emissions with each transaction. Our solution to reducing our carbon emissions includes purchasing carbon credits. Carbon credits are permits that allow us to emit a limited amount of greenhouse gas. One carbon credit is equivalent to emitting 1 ton of greenhouse gas. In the event we do not fully utilize the full amount of allowance for emissions, the farmers can actually sell these allowances in credits to other companies to make money. This extra incentive for farmers actually promote sustainable farming, which can promote sustainable farming that can across all the farms we are working with. And this idea of sustainable farming actually can attract even more investors, as investors nowadays are moving towards moving in the direction of investing in ESG-related investments. The slide shown on the screen now reflects our timeline and targets, which estimates how long it will take for us to fully develop our systems and officially start operations. We will be starting with our creation of UI and design from January 2024, progressively until the last stage, which is initial release to public domains, which ends around March 2025. We'll be asking for a grand total of $126,000 for us to officially kickstart our project.
Here at Harvest Inc., we plan to bring asset tokenization together with blockchain in order to solve these issues and make sure that we have a brighter future. Thank you.
All right, well done, team. So now, judges, we may get your questions. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, team, for this very comprehensive and thoughtful presentation that addresses, not only the business model, but also, the blockchain dynamics and also ESG considerations. So my question is related to stakeholder engagement. Can you all share what sort of engagement you all have had so far with the farms in Singapore or Korea, and what was their feedback from the engagement? Thank you.
So in general, with farms in Singapore, we've realized that majority of them, with how little land we have in Singapore, majority of them are actually hydroponics. And this kind of makes it easier for us, not only as in Singapore especially, because in hydroponics, when you have an investor, what you can do is you can basically have smaller crops of land in the hydroponic itself. Then this actually eases the control of the farms instead of having to split up many different parts of the crops and all that. And we've also received some positive feedback, as farmers generally, like we said just now, it's really difficult for them to find investments. And generally, because farming is not really seen as something very profitable and very good in this day and age. So people tend to back away from it. But with what we're doing here, we plan to bring investment back into the agricultural industry and plan to basically make it pop off again.
Thank you.
I actually have the same question as Kenneth on the farmer side, but maybe let me switch to the side. Then how do you then attract investors to participate in this program?
Okay, so for investors, generally, we can not only promise them a new venture, but we also can show them that farms is not we're giving them an opportunity to not just have a crypto blockchain, but also allow them to have the product physically itself. Because what we're giving them is not just a harvest token. They can also trade a portion of these crops, a portion of these tokens for the crop itself. Not only this, investors will actually have the opportunity to begin to invest in a completely different market, one that's just growing out and can actually yield many possibilities in the future.
Thank you.
First of all, great idea, very creative, and you've put the context very clearly. Very quick question. Have you done any competitor analysis on this across the world? Because when farming comes to mind, Singapore is not the first place that comes to our minds, right?
Right. We did actually do some competitor analysis, and we found one competitor which is doing something similar, except what they offer to their farms is more of a loan that they can bring out. And here at Harvest Inc., we also have many other benefits, such as exchanging your tokens for the crop itself, and also many other benefits with our ESG as well, which has not been done yet from what we've seen so far.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, judges, for the questions. Thank you, Team Harvest Inc. You may now exit the stage. Okay, so next up, we have our third team under the category of RegTech, Team Fleur Industries Private Limited. Team, you may get up on stage. All right, so team, your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is George. He was retrenched during COVID-19 and he was struggling to make ends meet. He applied for government assistance but was rejected. The reason? Fraudsters who have utilized his information. To explain what I mean, with generative AI and 3 obscure different images of George, together with spoofed addresses and other generated synthetic voice and documents, we created a realistic synthetic identity of him. This, by the way, was exactly what 4 men did in 2020 to steal $24 million from the US COVID relief aid. With AI, they created synthetic identities by combining images from individuals with other fake data to apply for these loans, affecting individuals by stealing their much-needed aid, taking out borrowings and passing on the debts, and making purchases with the victim's identity. Undoubtedly, this also leads to losses for businesses and governments, judges and everyone. This is a serious issue affecting everyone, everywhere, and no one is safe. So how can MES, large corporations, or even SMEs prevent fraudsters from defrauding people like George? Well, the solution will be Trustify, your shield against fraudsters using emerging AI technology to combat emerging AI fraud.
Here's how we're going to do it. Trustify offers 3 products. First, a one-stop identity detection as a service platform that provides multimodal biometric verification and liveliness detection. Second, a custom AI solution consisting of client-specific fine-tuning models. And lastly, an API which consists of Generative Adversarial Network or GAN APIs. Trustify will leverage these concepts. Firstly, we use GAN to generate synthetic data to provide a comprehensive dataset for our model to train with. Secondly, AI, LLM, and NLP can perform natural text classification to provide comprehensive insights. And lastly, the Q-learning model will iteratively improve our model's accuracy. Trustify targets 3 areas that are making detection harder, namely evolving and emerging AI technology, technical communication gaps, and inaccurate datasets. Judges, these are very big problems, and here's how we're going to solve them. We'll use GAN to generate and detect synthetic data, beating evolving and emerging AI technology used in frauds, while the AI, LLM, and NLP bridges the technical communication gap between systems and back-end workers. And lastly, the Q-learning model will solve inaccurate datasets, stopping garbage in, garbage out situations, overall helping industries combat AI fraud. Starting from the left of the diagram, Trustify's process flow begins by collecting information from customers, such as their facial features and onboarding documents. Besides synthetic data generation, our GAN's discriminator component produces a trust score to determine if their identity is authentic or synthetic. If it is authentic, it will pass through our system, while flagged or blocked ones will pass through our AI LLM. Once flagged cases enter our AI LLM, compliance officers can investigate further to determine if these flagged identities are false negatives. Q-learning will then utilize these suspicious identities as additional data points to iteratively improve our model's performance. And with this vast data set, it provides compliance officers and AI engineers with insights that can be used to fine-tune and optimize model performance. Judges, here is a demo of Trustify for compliance officers and AI engineers.
With our AI, LLM, and GAN powered datasets, any company systems and compliance officers would gain enhanced KYC processes such as synthetic face and identity detection. After receiving a batch of client onboarding documents, our GAN datasets enable our systems to allow, block or flag out suspicious cases for compliance officers to investigate. After which, flagged identities will be fed into our AI LLM for compliance officers to investigate further with pre-made prompts on different parameters specific to different cases or make their own specific prompts on a case-by-case basis. With a gold mine of a dataset, this would enable compliance officers to yield the best results through the use of these pre-made prompts, which can aid in the detection and inquiry on synthetic face generations and AI-generated documents, blocking the possibilities of fraud at its roots. Additionally, system engineers at the back end can check fraud detection analytics to gain a broad overview of current systems, provide a visual overview, and suggest improvements to detection models. Afterwards, they'll be able to narrow down to areas of concerns and prompt our AI LLM to produce historical data, allowing engineers to fine-tune the model's parameters, train it on GAN synthetic data, and make improvements to payment fraud detection models.
Next, our USPs involve synthetic data generation with GAN to create extensive datasets to improve fraud detection. Second, the Q-learning model provides a reinforced approach that iteratively improves data quality. Lastly, Trustify's natural language AILMs provides ease of integration, round-the-clock assistance, and continuous learning. This empowers industry's first-mover advantage in synthetic fraud detection. But how specifically does Trustify prevent payment fraud? First, its GAN creates comprehensive datasets that improves fraud detection. Additionally, the reinforced learning approach ensures that data in our model constantly improves. And lastly, with Trustify's natural language AILM, workers can leverage a goldmine of a dataset to enhance fraud prevention. Overall, Trustify's comprehensive one-stop AI-powered solution holistically combats AI-powered fraud, passively and actively staying one step ahead of fraudsters. Moving on, we offer 4 pricing packages to personalize our ecosystems for startups, MNCs, and governmental agencies, allowing our datasets to improve with every new client.
Next, we have divided our time frame of 12 months into 5 phases, and let me bring you through the first 4 phases heading towards launching our MVP. So the first phase is to begin testing Trustify's proof of concept and developing our prototype, which will take 3 months. Our second phase, which involves raising $15,000 to continuously iterate and fine-tune our model, will require 2 months. Our third phase, which requires 3 months, include pilot testing on selected users and getting feedback from them. And finally, with continuous iteration, we'll be launching our MVP in phase 4. As we scale further, Trustify can be used across industries beyond financial services to combat money laundering and terrorist financing acts. For investment required, we will be mainly using open source software like TensorFlow libraries, which are free to use. For the actual cost, we will be using a pay-as-you-go model with Amazon EC2 instances to keep our MVP cost as low as possible. So that will cost roughly $15,000. Next, an estimated cost of $5,000 will be needed for licensing to scale the model and maintain them. In total, our estimated required investment will be $20,000. Look, judges, imagine a world where the boundaries between authentic and synthetic blur. It's a world where George's, yours, and my identity could be effortlessly replicated. And we wouldn't want that to happen. So, are you ready to hop on with Trustify and help all of us transact more safely, one identity at a time? Thank you.
Right, thank you, Team Fleur Industries. So now, judges, may we have your questions?
Thank you. Very exciting to see that you're looking in that direction. Very quick question. Have you done any clear analysis of the computational capacity that is required for this? Because I saw some estimates on the Amazon EC2 numbers, but just want to understand.
Can you repeat the question again, sorry?
Have you done any analysis on the computational capacity required for your work? Computational capacity.
So right now we are currently working with PayPal to develop a proof of concept. So Amazon EC2 instances is a pay-as-you-go model. So we have come up with about $20,000 to develop our MVP, and it's about 3 months worth of training data to train our model to detect fraud, and then we'll help. We'll try to have 1 to 2 merchants together with us, and then we'll partner with them, and then we'll work together with PayPal in order to detect fraud in that way. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's useful.
Yep, thanks for the interesting presentation from real and then online as well. So I think you have worked on a very compelling use case, which is on payment fraud. Looking at your investment is also, I think, relatively value for money. But I think, the fraud cases is very prevalent nowadays. So is there any way for you to shorten your implementation timeline?
Well, fraud cases are happening more regularly these days, and of course it's in our interest to shorten the timeline, but to ensure that false negatives are kept to a minimum and accuracy of our data sets and our model in general is as accurate as possible, we feel like 1 year is relatively a realistic timeline to hit in order to ensure that going forward, more the identities, more onboarding documents can be effectively and efficiently detected. So it's more about balancing the need for combating fraud now and making sure that the future fraud is detected more accurately, more safely, and more privately. Yeah.
But then also with our USPs, the synthetic data generation, and also the Q learning model, it iteratively improves our model as you go. So in the meantime, right, it may increase or it may speed up the process and streamline it further if the model is sufficient and strong enough.
Okay, good, thanks. I think you have a good justification why you require that timeline and not shorten the timeline based on just what the judges are asking. Thanks.
Thanks. This is a very, I think, important use case that the financial sector is facing right now. So thanks for, thinking about this use case and building, I think, quite a, comprehensive and thoughtful presentation on your business case. My question is on data governance, actually, because I understand you'll all be using synthetic data, but you'll be basically trained and updated using real life data, right? So what are the processes or safeguards that you guys would have in place so that the data that's being fed into the system is actually kept safe for the different stakeholders? Thanks.
So in terms of data safety and security, we'll have different implementations such as access controls, end-to-end encryption, cryptographic hashing to ensure that these biometrics of the customers get securely stored. And even if they are compromised, the fraudulent actors wouldn't be able to access them due to the hashing and other SSL integrations that we have in place.
Also, to add on, right, we also certify our operations to widely known information security management standards. So I think one of it will be the ISO 27701, 27K1. So I think a lot of telcos are abiding their operations, aligning it to that standard. So we'll ensure that, to prevent data leakages and all that sort of privacy violations, we'll certify our operations to that. To other globally known standards that protects data privacy. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So before we go, I would like to say, our concept can apply to every other industry besides financial services. Think safety, anti-money laundering, counter-financing, terrorism, etc. So think big with Trustify, trust with Trustify. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, team. Thank you, judges, for the questions. Team, you may now exit the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now for our penultimate team, we have Team Equilibrium on the category of InsurTech. Team, your time starts now.
Good afternoon, judges. I'm Erica, and this is Aloysius. We are from Team Equilibrium. Before we get into our pitch, let's take a look at our problem statement. Now, allow me to take you on a journey, a story that unveils the stark reality of financial illiteracy gripping our youths. Meet Sarah, a bright-eyed 21-year-old student. Like many of her peers, she ventured into adulthood with zeal, but lacked a crucial tool to navigate life's financial challenges, financial literacy. With little understanding of financial planning, she entered NUS, hoping to make her parents proud with a successful career in medicine. But as expenses piled up, her savings dwindled, and student loans loomed over her like dark clouds. When an unexpected medical emergency struck her family, the burden became overwhelming. Sarah's story isn't an isolated one. According to surveys conducted by us for youths aged between 16 to 26 years old, we found that 75% of them lack access to financial guidance, and 71% of them have not yet received financial literacy education. However, on the bright side, 98% of them indicated that they were willing to embark on a journey of financial literacy.
Right, you see, the heart of Coverage Odyssey truly lies in addressing the financial needs of young adults. Our game goes beyond education. It empowers and equips the next generation to overcome these financial hurdles. Now imagine Sarah embarking on Coverage Odyssey, an immersive 2D role-playing adventure. In this game, Sarah, along with many others, will be able to set their own financial goals and be given their own sets of game narratives so as to help them accomplish these goals. Now diving into Coverage Odyssey, during the sign-up process, the information provided by the players will be used to tweak their game narratives accordingly to their current financial goals and constraints. Players will also be able to customize their own characters, allowing them to infuse their own unique identity within Coverage Odyssey. You see, the core principle which guided us through the design of Coverage Odyssey was about the creation of a platform where players can get the answers to all of their financial literacy-related questions. Thus, we have come up with 6 pillars being earn, save, spend, invest, protect, and donate, all of which serves a common purpose, which is to provide players the most relevant financial knowledge. And just before I get into the games, here are the other elements that Coverage Odyssey has to offer. Firstly, the Gacha Marketplace. This is where players can acquire new pets, items, and characters. This will also be one of the primary ways for Coverage Odyssey to sustain itself through microtransactions and in-app purchases. Secondly, the leaderboard, which helps to foster a sense of competitiveness within Coverage Odyssey. Thirdly, the forum where players can hold open discussions on various topics, for example, the best game strategies, the best credit cards to take on, and etc. Lastly, upon accumulating 100,000 P coins, players will be prompted by Coverage Odyssey to take up the opportunity to have an online consult with an actual financial advisor from Prudential so as to clarify any doubts that they may have and reach their goals sooner. Coverage Odyssey goes even further, offering several side games like firstly, Insurance Capitalist. This is a game where players can manage their own insurance firm, so they'll get to explore the various types of insurance policies and recommend these policies to their clients, as well as to expand business operations. The ultimate goal of this game is to allow players to understand the various concepts of insurance policies through getting them to recommend these policies to their clients. Insurance capitalists can also further contribute to the financial advisory landscape through Prudential by identifying players who are good at the game and those who have shown keen interest in financial advisory work. Secondly, you have Budget Boss. This is a game where players will have to first go through a round of bingo, which will test them on the fundamentals of financial literacy, and only then will they proceed on to the Financial Budget Boss, which will provide players questions that are specifically tailored accordingly to their current financial goals and constraints. Players will then have to identify the most appropriate answers, and towards the end of the game, Budget Boss will provide players with the insights as to which parts they've done well in and which parts they could improve on. Our game was inspired by role-playing games such as Growtopia and Terraria, both of which are very popular amongst Gen Zs.
Some features of Coverage Odyssey include behavioral nudges, the utilizing of AI to generate dynamic and adaptive storylines, which leads to an immersive experience for each and every player. Lastly, Coverage Odyssey features rewards, where players can earn points by playing mini-games, and they can then use those points to redeem avatars. Coverage Odyssey encapsulates Sarah's transformation. Our game stands out as a pioneering initiative, one that not only educates, but empowers.
To amplify our reach, our outreach efforts will begin at Ngee Polytechnic and subsequently expand to other institutes of higher learning.
The benefits are endless, not just for Sarah, but for countless other young adults. They will be equipped with increased financial savviness, the ability to gain financial independence, as well as the mindset of giving back to society through the donation of P-coins in-game. But the impact extends beyond the users. For the insurance agencies, as you can see from the user metrics, 100% opted to submit their financial information to engage with a financial advisor. On top of that, 71% of them paid money for an avatar without any assistance. This goes to show that through referring players to financial advisors for more in-depth financial information, the customer base of that insurance agency will increase, and hence the ROI will also increase in turn. Lastly, for bigger stakeholders, such as the unbanked, through acquiring essential financial literacy skills, they will be empowered to achieve greater financial independence. And for the insurance industry, the brand reputation will be enhanced and customer loyalty will be greatened. Lastly, on a global scale, we aim to tackle 2 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 4, quality education, as well as Goal 10, reduce inequalities. To reach out to young adults like Sarah, we aim to leverage on social media and influencers to promote Coverage Odyssey. And through hosting roadshows in schools, we aim to inculcate a sense of community and authenticity within our game.
We estimate that the cost of development will range around $32,000, mainly coming from these 3 factors. And our time frame of 8 months to market also ensures that we address these pressing concerns as soon as possible, enabling our current youth quick access to these resources.
Sarah, along with many other youths, will enjoy easier access to financial literacy resources, be more financially literate, and view insurance as a joyful rite of passage. As for insurers, their commercial value will be increased, and there will be increased connectivity between the insurer and customers. Together, let's make Coverage Odyssey a beacon of hope and empowerment for the youth of today and tomorrow. Thank you. Apologies for the technical difficulties.
Thank you, Team Equilibrium. So can I get you to the center of the stage and for the additional members to get up on stage as well? And now with that, judges, may we have your questions? Thank you.
Thank you. It's quite an engaging way for Gen Z and the new players, the new customers as well. Just a very quick question. So you talked about budgeting to be taken into account as well. Have you looked at expanding into the whole holistic financial profile of an individual that looks at even your assets and liabilities? And I know it's at the student state it's slightly different, but you need to be looking at expansion. So just a thought.
Yes, we have looked at expansions, but right now since we're targeting Gen Z, so that's how we integrate AI into our systems. Because how we integrate AI is that the narrative will change according to what you fill in at the sign up page. So let's say your sign up page, your assets is like, your goal is to, you want to buy a house or you want to manage your assets. Then the AI will custom the game towards that. So it's not just about helping Gen Z, it's about actually helping everybody to know financial literacy. Thank you so much.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Thanks so much for this very engaging presentation on an important use case, financial literacy for youth, and also really beautiful, game graphics that you guys have designed as well. Must have put a lot of thought into that. So congratulations. I can totally see, my kids playing such a game. So I think it's a good, and the whole day playing this kind of graphic on their, whatever computer or iPhone. So I think it's great. My question actually relates to your anticipated marketing and rollout strategy. Like how many youths or do you all intend to onboard over a certain time period? Have you all thought about that? Thank you.
Yes, we have actually thought about that. So as for now, we want to onboard our schoolmates essentially from Ngee Polytechnic first before we actually branch out to other IHLs, such as the other polytechnics, even ITEs, as well as secondary schools, specifically those from 15 years of age onwards, whereby it will be actually infused into their curriculum as well.
And right now for our surveys, we only did a round of 100 students, but we're looking to expand to 1,000 students as we're going throughout the stage. So we get more feedback from different various groups of people, whether they are from finance courses or other courses. So we get a bigger sample count of 1,000, and we have more accurate results.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think I do learn something as well from what my kids are doing. So I know, but is there any, apart from using games, right, to attract your users, have you thought of any other platform that could also be used to attract them? Because what I'm seeing that you guys are really into gaming platform, and you introduce something again into this platform, would it be reaching a stage where people are so, how to put it, having too much of gaming kind of platform and probably would not attract the kind of attention that they want?
Yes, we do not only focus, mainly our idea is focusing on a game, but yes, through our roadshows, we also aim to educate the people at the school, whether they onboard with us about financial literacy. So we're not only focusing on a platform like this, and we do also hope to create, let's say if they are even more interested in learning more, we have our own personal website where they can, from the game, they can link up to their website, and their website teaches them more about financial literacy. Because we do know that not many people might like to play games. There are some people that prefer to do learn. So we do hope to create a website that actually encapsulates all our knowledge of financial literacy where other people can refer as well.
Yep. This is also why we actually infuse this into the curriculums of secondary schools so that it will be brought forward to them in terms of a learning environment rather than just through games.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, judges. Thank you, Team Equilibrium. So now you may exit the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so now under the category of generative AI, we will now have the final team, Team RMRF. Okay, team, your time starts now.
Hi, we are Team RMIF, and we are super excited to showcase our product, SingGen, a AI video gen service for financial advisors to equip them with a customer engagement tool. So, we are trying to solve the old age problem of information overload and decision anxiety for customers in the financial space when purchasing, let's say, financial schemes or insurance products. As you know, there is a very vast difference in your customer groups based on their needs and differences. And to match these customers to the 1001 schemes available is a very arduous process. So, to illustrate how SingGen comes into play, we will take a look at a very specific target segment for a more comprehensive understanding. So now, I'm Alan. I'm a 25-year-old gig worker, but not just any gig worker. I'm a platform worker hustling, juggling 2 jobs. I'm a food delivery driver. I'm also a hail rider. But my true passion lies in mixology. But due to my gig life hustle, I don't have the time to pursue. My main concern would be, what if I get into an accident? I don't have the hefty medical bills would be a large concern. And also, I would like to BTO with my girlfriend of 3 years, settle down, get married. So, in today's reality, what would happen when I approach a financial advisor regarding my needs and concerns for a more holistic well-being? This is what would play out.
Hi, welcome to Sing Life. I've actually been taking notes, Alan, about what you need. And these are all the documents you will need to read through and choose your financial plan.
What is this? I don't have the time, not the mental energy to read through all this. Now this is where SingGen comes into play. We have liaised with SingLife to develop our solution, comprising of a custom large language model that encapsulates all of SingLife information, such as their products, schemes, and services, along with an infomercial generation system that delivers engaging, personalized, short-form video content based on your customers' needs and the available products. Now, let's reimagine the scenario with SingGen in play.
With the new SingGen system, I'm able to key in and ask Alan, and I'm able to generate a personal infomercial just for him. So let's take a look now on my iPad so that I can advise Alan better. Let's turn to the demo. So it's a really simple interface where the financial advisors will log in, and all I have to do is enter the details of my clients. In this case, Alan, he's a 25-year-old Singaporean guy, and he wants to seek a path of financial freedom while also balancing his studies and passion while pursuing his romantic life. So let's take a look at what happens when I key in Alan's needs. And this is really deployed. And let's wait a few seconds and we can see a personalized infomercial generated just for Alan with all these resources that our AI has put out to generate the video. So let's actually take a look at what the AI has generated for us to see the magic of artificial intelligence. So that's supposed to be voiceover. So it's AI-generated voiceover, right? So in this case, I think some technical issue, it doesn't play. But we can see that the AI has generated a video just for Alan's case. So now that is really amazing video that the AI has generated. But let's take a look underneath the hood on how the technical implementation is being done. As a financial advisor, I will interact with our web application, keying in the details of my clients. Our web application then integrates smoothly with our advanced large language model powered by OpenAI. We've gathered all the information from SingLife, their financial documents and knowledge, and stored it in our database. With all these details, we then fine-tune the large language model so that the AI has details and accurate knowledge about everything that SingLife has to offer. With this, the AI-generated script will always be consistently accurate. And with that, we can generate 3 things. Number 1, the Sing Life information so that we can give it for further reading. Number 2, a jingle so that we can make the video more engaging. And lastly, the actual script itself. With the script, we can then generate assets like pulling in stock images and videos, as well as creating an AI's voiceover to tie the whole narration together. With all these raw ingredients, we can then finally cut them together into a final infomercial to be sent back to the client. So it's a really simple and efficient algorithm. So who will actually benefit from this solution? Of course, it will be financial advisors. This is a tool that allows them to better engage their leads. This will in turn increase the lead conversion rate for his or her company. And when evaluating the target market, because we are helping financial advisors, we're trying to look at how many financial advisors can we actually impact in Singapore. There's 20,000 plus financial advisors in Singapore. However, for our pilot program, we plan to aim at 50 Sing Life financial advisors. So we'll be taking a 2-phase approach to ensure the smooth deployment of our solution. The first phase involves assistance from Sing Life in training the large language model on sample non-personally identifiable data. However, we have already done this. We are now in our second phase, where we are actually training the model on real-life Sing Life data, and eventually, in just a few weeks' time, we'll be deploying out to real Sing Life insurance agents to try out. So when considering the business expense, next, there are 6 main business expense. However, the main part here is training and building the large language model. However, we must also consider the legal and compliance issue when dealing with financial data. So you might notice, are we asking for investment? We're not. Why? Because we are the coders, we are the developers ourselves. And because Sing Life is in partnership with Microsoft, Microsoft has generously granted us with $100,000 of OpenAI credits for us to develop. So here is already deployed and live. Next. So, to sum up, we're an AI-generated infomercial platform to equip financial advisors with customer engagement tools. And let me ask you this last question. In the world of AI, fast AI startup, what is the most important thing to succeed? Speed. We here have a deployed product that is going to be used in real-life context. You can even try it out yourself. So, let us actually take a real-life demo of how the AI generates one last time. So here, let's try on his name is Hong Yu. He is the AI engineer here. And let's actually look at the product in action. And later on, after the demo, you can try out yourself. So here is Hong Yu. He has concerns like, he wants to, what kind of travel insurance? Yeah, so we can see that it's a really simple platform for financial advisors to use. So let's just grant it up and let's generate. But thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed the demo and we love to hear your questions.
All right, thank you, team. And for judges, your questions, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So this is the second or third one that we heard about, Gen AI. So my question would be, this is your end user will be for financial advisor, right? So as a customer, then when I interact with my financial advisor, then how would I know that the advice that's being given is through a machine or through the actual financial advisor? Would me as a customer get to know that this information being generated by your system?
So we're actually not replacing the current procedures when the customer interacts with a financial advisor. We are just building on top. So instead of like sending messages, sending them PDF links of the documents, we're able to send, financial advisors are able to send customers a direct video, like a TikTok-style engaging video. And in those videos, we also have the sources linked back to the actual PDFs where the data was actually gotten from to generate the video. So on top of the video, it's also able to generate like the 3 sources it got the information from. So there is no, yeah.
So of course, we will tag the video that is generated by AI because it's dangerous for them to think that a real human did it. But that is just a regulatory side of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, this is very impressive technical that you guys have put together. It really, I mean, to your team name, it removed my past conceptions of what AI can do.
I'm glad you got the job.
Yeah. So my question is really, I mean, because I also do some work with generative AI applications, and you should have some functionality for the user to edit, I would say, because the video may not be correct in the first place. So what sort of functionality do you plan to put together? Because right now it seems that it just comes up with the video and the user can't edit it after that.
Correct. So, because as you said, right, it's important for them to edit the video in case something is wrong or the information is inaccurate. We are actually actively working on a front-end interface. So after the video has been generated, you can see like a timeline slider. We're able to cut the video or edit the subtitles or just voice over, delete some notes. This to ensure that they have more control over the video. But you raise a good point. It is important to operate the human in the loop so that the AI doesn't just give out misinformation to the clients.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I agree with both Edmund and Kenneth. It's an amazing presentation, and a bit of dramatization definitely helps in the presentation. Very quick question.
Yes.
The job of a financial advisor is to make sure that the customer can tap onto his or her expertise on a regular basis, and also an expectation that if something is about to go wrong, or some changes that need immediate attention are highlighted to the customer in the right time.
Right.
Have you thought about that constant or continual advice rather than just one-time selling in the beginning?
So your question is basically this, because you think this is like a one-time thing, but as financial advisors, obviously they will have to give constant input from their expertise, and this is exactly what we plan to do. Because since we have all the information about the Singlife, we also have information about what the user needs and their history. So instead of the insurance agents basically combing through all the history, with the AI, they're able to have context over years and months period of the client's data.
And actually, with the past history of the past conversations, our model will actually work even better because you actually get more context of the customer situation for them to actually accurately predict which sources to actually pull. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, judges, and thank you, team RMRF, for the presentation. May I now get you to exit the stage? Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so thanks for sitting through, for listening to all the 5 presentations. So now, the teams have put in all the hard work, and so now the judges must do the same. So, the judges, you'll be going for your deliberation right now. For the audience, we will be back at 1:50, so 1:50 for the announcement of the winners. Thank you so much. Right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. So can I just get everyone to get back to their seats so that we may resume the segment? Thank you so much. So now, the teams have worked hard on their ideas and pitches, and the judges have too. Maybe you guys even debated, maybe even argued over the results, right? So, but of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to tell you the dust has settled, and we now have our winners of the PolyFinTech100 API Hackathon 2023. So, to help us with the prizes, may I now invite Mrs. Ong Ang Aibun back on stage to present the prizes. Okay. So, Mrs. Ong, are you ready? Yeah, nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at the second runner-up of the PolyFinTech100 API Hackathon, we have Team Harvest Inc. from Singapore Polytechnic under the category of tokenization of real-world assets. So, team, may I get you up on stage? Congratulations. Yes, and all right, for team, so now you have your very nice props for photo opportunity. So may I now get you guys to hold for the photos. Okay, thank you so much, team. May I now invite you back to your seats on the left. Thank you. Nice, another round of applause for the second runner-up. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, coming at first runner-up, we have Team RMRF from Singapore Polytechnic under the category of Generative AI. They win Singapore dollars or 2,500 Singapore dollars. right, thank you, team. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for, the moment we've all been waiting for, we now can announce that the grand champions of the PolyFinTech100 API Hackathon 2023, winning a prize of 4,000 Singapore dollars, is Team Fleur Industries Private Limited from Ngee Polytechnic under the category of Red Tag. Team, come on stage. Congratulations. Put on your best smiles and then hold up the Alright, so with that, team, congratulations. May I invite you back to your seats and yes, sure.
I want to have the last say. As the grand sponsor of this event, I take this opportunity and this privilege to say I've thoroughly enjoyed the 5 presentations today. They were all very good. And frankly, I am also very pleased that last year, we agreed to include a first runner-up and second runner-up prize. Now this year, the presentations were so good that I will not touch your fund, Ching Ching. ABS will give $500 to the other 2, which were also very good. So ABS will give each one of you $500, okay, for the last 2. Thank you very much, and enjoy yourself with a tea, with a lunch, okay? Maybe a glass of beer, champagne, okay? Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all your support, and all the 5 finalists, all the very best to you, and congratulations once again. Yeah, thank you.